working as a barman. Cellarman, was the head cellarman in a wine bar in Leicester Square in London, and I met a group of homeless people one evening with one of my fellow staff members, just by chance, and developed a relationship with a group of homeless people, and that relationship expanded over time, and became a symbiotic relationship of me helping them and becoming involved in their lives in the manner of being a friend. And I wasn't aware of this, but them becoming involved in my life in the manner of being protection people, in a sense, though I wasn't aware of that. That's a story I can tell. There'd been an incident at the wine bar that I was working at, and we stayed behind, and afterwards the girl that I was there with, she was an Australian girl, she and I knew each other really well. We left, we decided we were going to go to a nightclub. The nightclub was too full, so we went to Leicester Square, and we had a bottle of wine with us, but we had no corkscrew. So we also had a bottle of champagne. So we sat at Leicester Square against the railings, and we opened the bottle of champagne. A homeless guy came along and said, "Oh, what are you guys celebrating?" I said, "Oh, we just got engaged." And he said, "Congratulations," and he sat down and started talking to us. And I said to him, "Look, if you've got something that you can open this with," and I gave him the bottle of wine. He said, "Yeah, of course I do." He had a corkscrew on him. His name was Popeye. He was called Popeye because he slept in the doorway of Popeye's, which is a fish and chip shop at Leicester Square. He then invited his friends, homeless friends, to come and sit with us, 3 or 4 of them, and to enjoy our celebrations of the 2 of us getting engaged. We hadn't gotten engaged, but that was what we said because it was champagne, etc. I remember this one guy coming along, and he stood above me. He would have been about 6'3", 6'4", and he stood above me. He had a blanket on, but he had it on like a shroud over his head. And I remember looking up to him and saying, "Wow, man, you look like a monk." And he said, "No, man, I'm a bum." And he became one of my good friends, one of the guys on the street. He became a good friend. His name was Alex. And just that honesty of, "I'm a bum," really hit home. I was 22, I think, at the time. And just really, there was a level of equality there, saying it how it is. This is who I am, and I know who you are, kind of thing. So let's not BS about this, and let's, that's how my relationship was with them. The next day, I went into the wine bar. I talked to the manager, who was the manager from the night before. He thanked the 2 of us for staying behind. There'd been a massive altercation in the bar, or outside of the bar. He thanked us, and I said, "Look, last night afterwards we met these homeless people, and this happened, and blah blah blah. What I'd like to do is, rather than throwing all this food away that we throw out every night, I'd like to actually take some of it." And before I'd finished the sentence, he said, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So I started to take some of the leftover food that we would be throwing away, the good stuff, when I say the good stuff, the stuff that wasn't going to perish overnight, kind of stuff. And I took it up to Popeye and said, "Look, here you go." And he shared it with some of his friends, and that became a thing that we did 3 or 4 times a week. And that's how we developed a relationship with these people. One incident that really sticks in my head is I was walking through Soho, and there were no street lights. It would have been about 3 in the morning. I'd been out drinking with friends. I was relatively sober, but still, I'd been out drinking. I was aware of what was going on around me. And there were 2 German skinheads walking towards me. on a street called Dean Street, and they were on the same side as me. I was on the right hand side as I was walking up towards Oxford Street, and I just felt a little uneasy about what was going on, and I thought, okay, don't feel that safe, I'm going to cross the road. So I crossed the road. It's not a very wide street. It's probably wide enough for a car to fit up and another car to be parked on. I crossed the road, I kept walking. As I walked and I was parallel with them, I kind of glanced across, and they were looking at me and they were laughing, and I felt even more uneasy. I quickened my pace. The next day I went into work, and as I walked past to work, Popeye said, "Hey Dion, come here." And he said, "Did you have a good night last night?" I said, "Yeah." Words to the effect of, I said, "Yeah." He said, "I hear you thought you might have had a bit of trouble or something." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "On Dean Street." I said, "What?" He said, "Oh, those two German guys." I said, "How do you know about that?" He said, "Oh, blah blah blah, Dave," or whatever his name was in the doorway. He saw what was going on. He had your back. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. I'm not in Leicester Square. Dean Street is probably about half a mile away. He said, "You're safe." So
It's like a real sense of camaraderie.
yeah. I knew that there was that community there, that they looked after each other, but I didn't realise that they had my back, that they, people that I didn't know knew who I was, and obviously not just me, but other people as well that look out for them, and that have some kind of interaction, and it all boiled down to respect. That's all it was.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was a powerful thing, and
Yeah.
especially at the age of 22, to learn that was a really massive life lesson, huge life lesson. I did hear that Popeye died before I left the UK, which would have been about 18 months after I spent a lot of time with him, and that
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that really hurt. And soon after Popeye died, they actually shut the shop as well, which was bizarre. He would have been in his, I guess he would have been in his late 40s, early 50s, so not a lot older than what I am now. He was a character. He was a fun guy. He was a real fun guy. Most people's negative judgment, is out of fear, and sometimes I think that fear is, what if I was in their position? What if I fell on the bones of my ass and was in their position? How would I react? Would I be able to survive? Would I be stinky and smelly like them? Would I be scrounging through rubbish bins? But a lot of these people still have a lot of self-respect, and they deserve to be given respect. And the best way that you can do that is just by simply taking a couple of minutes even to talk to them. If you're going to give them 50 cents or $1 or whatever, don't just give them the 50 cents. Ask them how they're doing. Even better, don't give them 50 cents. Ask them if they want a sandwich, and go and buy a $3 sandwich from the supermarket. Often they would rather have the food than the money. They've all got a story to tell. So